Hey YouTube, Cutting Edge Works with another knife review. The long-awaited 940-1 Osborne design by Benchmade. I've been dying to get this and review this. This is kind of for me, one of the ultimate EDC knives, and they made it better. So let me get that out of the way. So this beauty here, I just got yesterday, and I've been carrying it, of course, ever since, and I'm in love. It is, oops, sorry about that. It is awesome. It is a win in pretty much every single way. So if you're not familiar with this knife, it's been around for a while, and it's probably undeniably one of the better EDC knives that you could ask for. I got lucky and got a first production 517 of 750, and pretty cool. They put back spacers in it there, the pillars, anodized blue aluminum. So this knife has been around, like I was saying, and usually it has aluminum handles, and they replaced it with this model with carbon fiber, really nice carbon fiber, might I add. And I believe that they've had a few different blade steels in it. I believe they've had 154 cm, and I think they've also had S30V. Both are great steels. I would probably put the 154 cm into a premium steel category, and I'd definitely put the S30V into a premium steel category. The S90V, in my opinion, is the best knife steel in the world. Period. Hands down. And what I base that on, because that's quite a strong statement, and I'm sure not everyone will agree, and that's fine, but I base that on a balanced steel. I think the S90V has a better balance in qualities than any other steel out there. I think that it has a very good level of corrosion resistance, and I think it has awesome cutting carbides in it, and I think that it has an amazing ability to retain an edge, and it's a very tough steel as well. So I really can't ask for anything more than that. That's everything I'm looking for, and it has it all. It excels and outperforms most other steels in all of those categories. And if you do find a steel, or if you heat treat a steel in a certain way that outperforms it, it usually lacks in some of those other variables that I just mentioned dramatically. So it usually gives up a lot more than it gains to outperform S90V. That's from my experiences and a few years worth of research on the internet, reading forums, talking to professionals who heavy use the stuff, as well as many other blade steels. So enough about the steel. I think I've said enough. It's amazing. No matter who you are, you're gonna love it. The only downfall is that if you're not, I don't want to say skilled, but I will anyway, because that does have some merit. If you're not a skilled knife sharpener, you might have some challenges, maintaining a really good edge, or even reprofiling the edge on S90V, because it's very tough. It's a very strong steel. It's going to take some time and consistency. You also are going to want to make sure you have the right tools to do it. You can do it by hand if you're really experienced. That's how I actually learned. But over the years, I've appreciated having a knife sharpening system, and I would highly advise that on a super steel like this S90V stuff. So yeah, you have that upgrade on this knife, on this model, and you have the carbon fiber, and you have improved design as well. Again, flow through design. And there's a few different aspects to this that I like over the standard 940 Osborne design. The flow-through design is obviously going to allow you to keep gunk out of there. You don't have to worry about just probably dropping it in some water and rinsing it out or blowing it out. It's going to come out a lot easier, and stuff's not going to accumulate. So I like that. Also, less material. I did a review on the emissary, and as you can see, the aluminum scales, it's two pieces that make up the handle, and they meet in the back. That's exactly how, or very similar to how, the other 940s were. They did have a strip of titanium, or I don't know if it's titanium or steel or aluminum, that was wedged in between, almost like a backspacer. But it's just a lot of extra material that they eliminated, again lightening up the weight. And I think this looks cool. I like the pillars that they put in there. And it's cool too, if you want to get rid of the blue, you could swap them out with something else. But there's some significant advantages there. The carbon fiber is beautiful, it's smooth, it's contoured exactly like the other aluminum scales are. Even the little groove here to make it look like there's a, I guess to accentuate the bolster area. Same exact pocket clip. And it just feels great in the hand. The action is smooth as butter. And very fast deployment. Much like the deployment on the emissary here, which is assisted. The only thing I will accredit the emissary with having an edge on over, and the reason why I bring this out, if you didn't see my other video, this emissary, the 470, is the first one they made, the smaller one. This has got a 3-inch blade and only weighs 2.1 ounces. It's been kind of a standard for me as far as everyday carry knives go. There's plenty of other knives that I love to carry. I just ended up finding this one in my pocket more than anything else until this arrived. Now that I have the 940, I just know that that's going to be the only thing I carry, or at least the knife that I carry most frequently. And it's going to replace this a lot because it's almost just as light. You have better materials in every single regard, and it looks cooler, in my opinion. You have a better blade design. It just kicks the emissary's ass in every way, shape, and form, aside from two things. One, the ability to access the thumb stud. They've milled out the aluminum here, and it's just so easy. Your thumb just falls right into it, and it's just so easy to deploy the blade. I'm not saying it's difficult to deploy the blade on this 940. Not at all. But it doesn't have anything in this standard direction that I'm used to accessing the thumb stud from. Even with a Spyderco, you know, you grab that spidey hole and you just flip it out. This, you almost have to come from below, along the side of the scale here, because the thumb stud is almost, I think it's even a little bit lower than the handle scale, just by a small margin there. Okay, so, you know, to come from above and try to get down on it is very hard. And my finger has slipped out off this thing probably, you know, 1 out of 10 times. So 10% of the time, I'm going to slip right off and miss it. So I have to kind of retrain myself to make sure I come from below it. And when I do that, it's, you know, effortless. It's beautiful. It's like a glass action they have here, and it's just washers. They don't have bearings or anything like that. Very nice. Solid lockup, zero blade play in any direction, and I think that might be attributed to the partial steel subframe that they have in here. It doesn't run the whole length of it. I'm sure they did that also to make sure that they're not adding too much weight. And the subframe, as you can see by the thickness right here, it's very thin, as they don't want to add very much weight. Again, it's this typical Griptilian level jimping, which is, you know, a joke. But the ergonomics, it feels great in the hand, and you are getting so much, and you're still maintaining an amazing weight. It's 2.4 ounces. 2.4 ounces. Now, that is awesome to me. I'm a fan, whether it's necessary or not, I'm a fan of eliminating excess or extra material as long as you're not sacrificing performance to do so. With almost anything. Okay? So like, I'm into MMA. I don't want to lose too much weight, because if I do, I'm not going to be able to grapple as well. But I also don't want to be fat. Stupid analogy, I know. So the reason why I have the 3 of these out here is that this weight and this weight are so similar between 470 and the 940-1. The weight is only 0.3 ounce difference. And you're getting a knife that's almost the size overall as the large emissary. They're really similar in length. The large emissary, I believe, is it's 3.5 inches, and the 940 is, I think, 3.4, and the same small difference in the handle length. So it's almost the same size. You're getting almost a 1/2 inch larger blade. You're getting a much thicker blade stock as well. That's something I didn't point out. Let's see if I can really catch it. Yeah, that's pretty obvious. Much thicker, stronger, much stronger tip, especially with that reverse tanto. And you're getting a much better blade design overall, much better. You have all that belly there, much stronger tip, still flat grind, and you're still barely adding any weight. So that's pretty cool. That's why I'm so stoked about this. So I talked about the one advantage with access to the thumb stud that the emissary has over the 940-1. The other is the pocket clip, and it's really not a big deal. It's just an observation. You know, it might be a big deal to you, but not so much to me. I like deep carry, and they both accomplish deep carry. Okay, it's just that the emissary does it better with this pocket clip and where it's positioned. Okay, when you put this in your pocket, it's going to go all the way in. You're going to see that much. Okay, when you carry this and put it in your pocket, you're going to see this much, which is nothing in comparison to the rest of the amount of knife there. It's a very small amount. I just like, the more I can bury into the pocket, the better. It's not for, being inconspicuous or not having someone notice that you have a knife. I really don't care about that because, and I've discussed this in other videos as well, but I feel like if somebody sees you have a pocket clip sticking out of your pocket like that, I assume that most people are going to figure out you have a knife on you. So I don't think that a deep carry knife is going to hide it and put you into stealth mode and all of a sudden nobody knows you have a knife. Okay, but I think that I'm more focused on the fact that the more knife in your pocket means the less chance it's going to fall out of your pocket. And that's why I like having a deep carry knife, especially with knives like this that are not all that inexpensive. I'm even more cautious about wanting to keep them and not lose them. So that's why I like to have that really deep carry like the Emerson has. Again, the 940 is good enough. It's still going to carry really deep. I've carried it. It never works its way out, never slides up, nothing like that. So I'm very happy. So out with the emissary and in with the new 940, and I'm really excited about it. Also, I wonder if I can really catch it. I don't know. They did a cool stonewash on this. Yeah, I guess you can kind of see it there. Some smudges off of there. It really looks good, and I stonewash blades, and I do a lot of acid stonewashing for added contrast. And I'm probably totally wrong about this, but I wonder because the hue, the overall darker tone of this steel on this blade, I almost wonder if they just dumped it into like an acid real quick just to darken it just a little bit and then stonewash it. I'm probably wrong about that. They probably didn't, but I wonder because it is a little darker than the other steel here. And that's not just the lighting. Any lighting you look at it, this blade looks a little bit darker than this, and it doesn't really seem to have much of a coating. So it might just be the steel, but I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe did a brief little acid quench or something like that, and then stonewashed it. Nonetheless, it's cool that they actually were able to get stonewash to really show up on that steel because it is so hard. I've stonewashed S30V steel for hours and I don't know if I'm just doing it wrong or I'm using the wrong media, but it took almost like half a day to really get a good stonewash on it. So pretty cool that they have that on there. Overall, I think it's a great looking knife. I think it's extremely functional. I think it's built very strong, especially considering how light it is. And I'm excited with the new design and the new materials that they use. So I think anyone who's going to pick one up is going to be really happy. Talking about price. I was talking earlier in my other video with the emissaries here. I was saying that in this size and at this price point for the large emissary, which is about $190, you can find better. They're not in the same price point whatsoever. This 940-1 is going to run you anywhere between $260 and $290, maybe even $300. It just depends where you get it and the whole shipping situation. So totally different echelon, and I really think that that's because it's using such premium materials, because none of the other emissaries I saw, besides maybe a limited edition or a gold class, I'm sorry, not the emissary, but the 940, I've never seen one that expensive except for like gold classes, which were even more ridiculous in price. Okay, but what you're getting is, and the reason why I put this back in the picture here, the large emissary, you're getting a knife that's almost the same exact size as the large emissary, and it's less than half the weight. Okay, or much less anyway. And you have all the features except for a lock and an assisted opening. Okay, but if you don't feel like spending, close to $300 on a knife, which I can't blame you, you can take a step down for $190 and get something with still a great blade steel that's fairly lightweight. Again, you can do even better than that. Another option, which I don't have one here with me right now, I have a couple of them, would be a Spyderco Paramilitary 2. That you can get for like $110. You get a great blade steel, you get S30V, and you get their compression lock, which is really nice. You get a great slicing blade. It's going to have a delicate tip, much like the large emissary does, or both the emissaries for that matter. But you can get a blade like that at a great price, and it's tried and true. It's proven to be awesome and durable, and it works really well. And it's got, all of the wonderful features that this knife has. And it's less. It's much less. It's actually a step down price-wise from the large emissary that I just had in the screen, but it's better in pretty much every single way, in my opinion. I would probably have a little bit more confidence in Spyderco's S30V over Benchmade's S30V. That's highly debatable, but that's just my opinion. I think Spyderco is just a step up from Benchmade in most regards, and as far as their steel goes anyway. And you're getting the same S30V, but you could also get a lighter knife, because the Paramilitary 2 I believe is lighter than the large emissary, and you're getting a knife that definitely falls into the tactical role as well, so it fits into more roles. You can use it for more things. So anyway, kind of got off topic there. This thing's beautiful. I would highly suggest, even if you don't want to get this model because of maybe price point, you just don't see the value or the necessity of having that, which I completely understand, go pick up one of the more inexpensive ones. I really wish I would have looked this up before I did the video, but I would guess and say you could probably find one for around $160. And that, I think, gives you either 154 cm or S30V, both great steels, and the aluminum handles. It's going to be lighter weight than the large emissary. It's going to be a better blade design. It's going to be less expensive, and it's going to have all the wonderful things you want. So at least check one of those out. 940 Benchmade Osborne design. It's one of the best EDCs out there in my opinion. Hope you liked the video. Let me know if you have any questions, thoughts, or some feedback. I'm always trying to make these videos better, so I appreciate it. Thanks for watching.